Welcome everybody, here's your Strategy Wolf and welcome back to a new special episode. We're doing a 1862 summary, overview and strategy outlook. You know this already. If you haven't seen the 1861, I highly recommend you to have a look at it. I'm gonna put a link in the video description, so check it out and get a recap if you joined in the Let's Play a little bit later. What are we going to do in this one? The question is, the target is to give you a short overview. Let's have a look at our agenda. I'll present you the front overview and what happened in 1862. We're going into a little overview over the upcoming production, the actual research and diplomacy, and we're gonna discuss and I'll have an outlook in the future and discuss further strategies. For your info, the music that's coming in the background is from another YouTube video. Like in the first video, I'm gonna put a link in the video description in case there's like offensive content in Confederate marches. I didn't listen through all of the lyrics, so I'm not responsible for that, and I do not agree with potential Confederate worldviews. However, I think it's just like giving a good atmospheric background, so I hope you enjoyed this one. Alright, then let's just jump right in before we lose too much time and go into the front overview and 1862 summary. In this case, oops, there's a mistake in the caption, but you will survive. Alright, we're starting in the very west in Arizona. What did we see here during the year? It was a similar state here in the north last time, but actually quite a lot happened since we had to withdraw a little bit of our forces down here and we brought in General Taylor. We had to defeat here this little Californian invasion force coming over the Apache Pass. So this was kind of a significant and important victory since they ran in kind of an ambush on our prepared forces, and now we've got this side clean and can continue north. So at the same time we tried with the Navajo to come over here and take Albuquerque or even Santa Fe in this area, but the enemy repelled this attack and drove us back with 2 brigades and even captured the capital of the Navajo and plundered it, so the Navajo are out. And I guess apart from these troops where we just attacked a little bit and had skirmishes versus Union native forces, we'll see more troops coming down soon. However, we've got still the most superior division here, the Mountain Division, which we just upgraded also with skirmishers, and we've got an extra division coming as reinforcements. Small detachment units from here I withdrew so I can use them for potential defense at the coastline or something like this. Alright, let's go to the Midwest. It's like with these state borders, I'm not always sure how to describe it. What did we see in 1862 here? Most importantly, I think, is that we really managed to use these cavalry forces we have here, natives as well as regular cavalry, to push up the entire Missouri River and cut off the supply from Dakota, the Nebraska, I think, and other western states. So the Union is really cut off of these western supplies, which is kind of a great success. With the capture of Fort Leavenworth, we even had the chance to also bring Kansas in the war, but we decided not to, since this would have spawned extra units that are in our way at the moment. Down here at the Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, I think this is Iowa, please correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Iowa's over there. We're just playing around, to be honest, taking some little towns which cost MPP or bring us MPP. At the same time, we're doing maneuver warfare with our cavalry. Like, we're not looking for decisive battles or anything. I'm trying to cut off enemy forces from supply, so they're in a weak position, attack them when they are, retreat if there's a too big offensive or enemy troops are incoming. So this is basically what we're doing here. There's no bigger plan also behind it. Like I said, the main task here is to occupy enemy forces, I think. What else did we see? We lost our a brigade which was occupying Fort Davidson after a short, or let's say a month-long siege, I think in the early summer or late summer. So there were some fights here and we lost Fort Davidson. However, there was no continued push down here. Then there was skirmishes and battles around Waynesville, where we decided at some point to retreat a bit, also to take up our troops, and So this is the current situation in the Midwest. Yeah, we have one more unit up here, don't you worry, this which is like at the moment uncontested and riding around. However, not as fast because supply situation is also really severe up there. So, or dire, so that's the case in the Midwest. Let's go, it's getting more and more interesting. So let's jump to the Kentucky-Tennessee front. What did we see in this section? So basically, last New Year's we were kind of here and down here. So what happened in the meantime, at the beginning of the year we continued our push, especially towards the Ohio River. Saw some battles over here and some attempts of the Union to push against us, but we managed to take the Ohio River line here, which I feel is a brilliant defensive line. Down here next to Cairo, that was raided by us the last year, we see a little bit of pushes coming down here to New Madrid, as well as always like divisions trying to attack our brigade here on this peninsula. Yeah, but no real like problems occurred so far. We could always repel them, but we have some troops stationed here to defend these river lines. Yeah. Okay, over here, in the east, basically, we made the biggest advance in the end. Also, I think in general, we pushed, the Midwest probably, but here's more towns. So we managed to push over here to the east. We had some battles next to, like enemy troops also went down here, so we had some skirmishes, we captured the enemy troops here. We had some bigger battles here to Richmond, I think London as well. And yeah, we pushed up here, so at the moment the situation is we tried to move a little bit next to Frankfurt, where we recently lost 2 divisions of enemy counterattacks. It stopped us a little bit over here. Actually, these troops are refreshed, so no worries, I could reinforce them. This is just a picture from like right before the reinforcements, so they're not at 5 and 6 over here, so this is kind of okay. And we moved all our the most competent generals here, Longstreet and Johnston, over here. And Van Dorn slowly came over here, so we have 3 generals in Kentucky. Let's see where this is leading to. There was a New Albany raid where we managed with another cavalry division to go over here, take the fighting spirit objective of New Albany. And it was just destroyed last turn. We think this is where this advance from our side is coming from. We lost a unit, but in the end the fighting spirit is what counts, so I think we can be quite happy about the happenings in Kentucky during 1862. Yeah, exactly. Which takes us to... Oh, sorry, this was not meant to be there. We come back to this later. Which takes us to the main front, the Virginia, Maryland, Potomac front, where most of the action took place in 1862. When I took the 1861 recap, we still had some landing forces here next to Tappahannock, and when the enemy tried to push us a little back here, even took Alexandria, and while at the same time with a parallel landing. It wasn't too bad of an idea, however I just had all the reinforcements coming in and which repelled these landings and crushed the enemy troops here. Then we had this, I call it the spring to summer grind, where and the enemy kept on going with the offensive, and I think this was a little bit too stubborn. She wanted to like push through and really keep this position. That's what my impression was. However, with all my new reinforcements, it wasn't so hard to repel all this and take back the Potomac position in like summer, in let's say July. Same time we saw the start of McClellan's Appalachian offensive, so more and more Union troops tried to push over the Appalachians into the Shenandoah Valley, I think, in the end. No, I don't have it all on the screen, but due to really bad supply situations and like partisans, and we really reckoned early that there's something going on, so by movement we moved them some brigades, and with the given supply situation it was easy to defend this front. So actually it was really nice to have these Union forces occupied and knowing that they were here, since we were preparing for our big Potomac offensive, which was probably the absolute highlight of this year, or this entire war, let's call it a war, when the newly arrived General Robert E. Lee, together with Mr. Jackson, of course, and Johnston and Beauregard also supported them, started the Potomac offensive, where we wanted to use the weakened lines of the enemy and pushed over the Potomac. The result was, most famously was the seizure of the White House, which lasted for only one turn basically, but the one turn was enough, so the enemy had to withdraw and move the capital up to Philadelphia, which costed a lot of fighting spirit in my opinion, or I think so, which was massive. Even though the enemy reconquered Washington, still this was a hard blow. We took Frederick and we took Hagerstown in the end too. So basically in the offensive from, let's say, September to November, it was also very costly. We had high losses because the enemy mobilized new volunteers and troops once we crossed the Potomac. So, and we see there's a lot of enemy troops around. So I was fantasizing a little bit about going to Annapolis or Baltimore, or I think Gettysburg is here under the black one. And we even surrounded here with some annoying small detachments of cavalry brigade. We lost our heroic Alexandria Cav brigade. That's that. But yeah, it was an intense fight for both sides, high losses, and we couldn't keep up the offensive because we're lacking troops, and we had to retreat a little bit. However, not fully behind the Potomac. So we are here on the other side of the Potomac now, and I think this is a good position to keep since it threatens Gettysburg, or we could go to Baltimore or Annapolis. And I'm happy to have this kind of threatening potential here in Maryland. At the same time, we're just like resupplying our troops here with fresh reinforcements that coming marching up from Richmond. So because we have to strengthen our lines as well, since for a little bit now they look kind of solid, but for a couple of 2-3 turns this looked pretty unstable for me. And I think if the enemy had like a severe push or like some attack troops around that were tacked up or something, there like a devastating blows could have happened to us. But I mean, that's sometimes the gambles you take, and maybe by pushing we didn't really show our weakness for a short time, and now I think this is a good consolidated position again. Alright, which takes us already to the next section about production research diplomacy. This time also including some graphs, for example, and this is quite important since I already talked about it in the last episode. But it seems to be the case that when you look at the collected income here, the green line, we are almost at 1,500. When you want to compare it to the union income, the union income kind of dropped now. And probably this is when we cut off the supplies, I'm not fully sure about this, but dropped below 1,200. So actually we are basically 300 NPPs at the moment ahead of the enemy, which is massive. And I didn't expect this to happen. I knew that the enemy had higher losses, which we see, it's kind of hard. But also our losses peaked during the Potomac offensive time. You see, this is there haven't been so high losses so far, but the same for the enemy. So this can be like nicely seen here. But what do we do with this information? It's kind of relevant. So we seem to be in an industrial advantage. I'm not sure if the enemy is lagging behind in industry tech or something, because they never even crossed the 1,400. I'm not sure. However, that's what it is, and we seem to be industrially superior now, which we can basically use for a war of attrition and bring us in a very good situation right now, since also we can afford basically everything we wanted to have, and quite happy about that. So if you want to see the other graphs in more depth, then I recommend you to have a look at the last episode where I showed all of them, but I think these ones are the main relevance for the moment. Alright, coming to the production table, and you see, we had our caps corresponding with our high income and like our good overall situation. We were able to basically buy all the divisions and cap divisions we had available within the production limit. And we just like fired out the first course that we researched, as well as the remaining possible native cavalry units. And then, as you see, we invested heavily here into a new Confederate Navy. So let's see how long the war is going to last. And I assume that the possession now is really good. But you never know. So in case the war lasts until like the end of next year, we will have a substantial monitored ironclad fleet even without any tech, but that I would be able to use at certain points together, and I'm pretty sure I could crush some Union Navy task force with those guys. But let's see, this is like a long way to go. Coming to research, research was pretty impressive. We noticed in this year that suddenly the enemy had a significant infantry equipment lead, since I think when I saw the first infantry tech 2 unit of the enemy, I just researched infantry 1, so this was a little bit shocking and really scared me a lot. Also, the enemy seems to have a course out first, because I just saw a corps over in Tennessee or next to Cairo before I even could field some corps, so it's more or less the same time. Also with the CAF equipment, the enemy was ahead, which was shocking. Or not shocking, but this was more shocking. However, now we double chitted infantry and put absolutely our effort here to catch up or not to fall back too hard. And yeah, we're also catching up with CAF. And then we have these more passive tactic and HQ researches going on. And of course these ones down here, but they are like now at the moment they're slowly. I think I'm not gonna double chit anymore after they run out of one and rather put it somewhere else. It's definitely for spying and industry production, probably too, since you know we are already having produced most of the things, so we can maybe even like do some nice researches, like maybe the balloons could be cool, more new, better skirmisher scouts maybe. Well, a lot of people demand scouts in the comments, but I've kind of decided early on that I rather go for CAF instead of scouts and leave that out. Now it could be still worth to do it, let's see. Or we even like coming along with the Navy, we invest in Western Navy tech, I don't know. Yeah, and definitely leadership will be nice next. I think the next shit goes in leadership, because leadership really improves our generals, so that would be awesome. But yeah, you know, we are at the limit again, and when I was talking a lot about this last turn in this year, it's kind of obvious already, since we invested heavily in the big ones, and some of them are really running out. Like fort modernization is gonna be at 2 soon, so are those tactics, they're gonna be at the maximum, so it's kind of, yeah, we can go also for logistics or something. Yeah, there's a lot of things becoming more clearer now. That's also way faster, I think, in this recap. And yeah, things are going really good. All right, coming to the diplomacy. We are still invested with 5 chits in France, and we were investing heavily into this. We had just one more in UK where we also scored a little bit of a hit. But the main stuff happened to France. I think we had 2 or 3 kind of in a row, plus the normal increase of the European powers due to the distance we have in between Richmond and enemy units. Or is it enemy fields? To be honest, I don't know. Let me know if you are sure about this. We just cleared out like some remaining leftovers of the enemy invasion that I didn't really think about for most of the year. Maybe I missed some opportunities to push this further, but yeah, still, you know. Actually, France was already at 70%, or 60%, so quite high. And I think the enemy had the possibility to counter this with some event to bring it down again. I'm not sure if it costs the enemy MPPs or fighting spirit, but there must be some kind of downside. And I think it's only possible once per power. So yeah, if France pushes up again, it's going to be dangerous for the enemy if the French can enter the war. I mean, this would probably be the end for the Union in this case. But yeah, it's also still lower than 50%. Let's see. And the Union also checked the graphs. At some point in one turn invested full 1,500 MPPs. No, not 5,000. It's 150 per, so it's 750. Yeah, 750 MPPs into diplomacy. And I mean, if the enemy was not stupid in the end, I'm pretty sure after all the hits in France and the urgency, given urgency, the enemy probably invested most of them in France as well. Question would be if we get some free chits, if we keep on focusing hard on France and do like a luck battle versus the Union, or if we switch for like a decoy or a kind of distraction chit on the UK again. Probably, I will stick with France, but let's see. It's also, diplomacy is always a little bit depending on luck, so we really don't know for sure. Alright, that already takes us to the outlook on future strategies, since well, we covered most of the important stuff already. Let's start in Arizona again. Last year we had a push to Colorado question mark, and yeah, we're in a similar position right now, but this time the question mark is gone. I'm definitely pushing up here. We have a HQ now, we have the division and another division incoming, so yeah, I think this is gonna be definitely possible. I don't know, we just crushed a native unit, there's more brigades, but it's just kind of weak units. While with this division plus HQ, I see myself like always being able to destroy one enemy unit and then cover this with the smaller units. So let's see. I'm hopeful, and I think once we passed Albuquerque and Santa Fe, the way to Colorado would be open. Yeah, I'm definitely planning on some kind of offensive here. It would be really nice to take the mines and such over there, so probably crippling the enemy's industry for real. But yeah, it's still a hard way, and I don't know if this is going to be successful. We will try for sure. Back to the Midwest. Yeah, and we're gonna continue exactly with what we were doing, maneuver warfare by the Confederate cavalry. So we're just gonna ride around, occupy enemy forces, annoy them, cause damage, take towns if possible, retreat if too many are coming. And with this division up here, with these natives up here, we're gonna try to capture some of these tiny towns, if possible. If not, we just retreat to places, you know. Keeping it flexible is probably the most important thing right now, and I'm really happy to see enemy units here, because they could be somewhere else where they would be more dangerous, because in the end we can still retreat down to the border of Arkansas and Missouri if necessary, but I don't plan on it. And over here, like in southern Missouri, yeah, there's like what you can see, this regiment moved down a little bit further. But it's not really threatening to outflank us. Apart from this, it's just a regiment, so unless it's going really for the mine star down there, I'm just gonna ignore them, cut them, something like this. And in the worst case, I bring a division or the brigade over there, or some detachment to help us out. Alright. Yeah, before we do this, now I gotta jump back to this one. Kentucky, Tennessee. What is the plan for 1863? So I'm a little bit worried about seeing the enemy. First of all, Ulysses Grant, which is the enemy's best general. Him being at 6 kind of makes me believe the enemy didn't even research leadership. I'm not sure, since it's just 6, but still, I think it's quite a capable commander, of course. And we've got this core here, so I'm not sure if this is an indication that the enemy wants to start offensive soon here. I mean, to be honest, if I was the enemy and I had the knowledge of my troops, we have our weakest general kind of here. And here's Nashville, and a kind of really important target. So in the dire situation of the enemy, this could be a smart move to try a push here with overwhelming forces. But since we know that they're here now, scouted by us, I'm not sure. This is not tagged up yet, so let's see when we see this core in action. Maybe they're gonna be more reinforcements. If we see another core, I think I'll also redirect some reinforcements to here, just to be sure and be safe of a real strong push that could unnecessarily like damage us over here. Over here, I mean, raids question mark. We took Albany by a grade which costed fighting spirit. We could do the same, for example, with Evansville, but last time we checked, it was definitely defended and occupied. I mean, this counts for the entire front line, you know. We could always, I mean, this is a fighting spirit objective, but also these other towns, if there's nobody, we can use it to just be annoying. If not, also not big of a deal. And here in the east, in eastern Kentucky, we've just had some losses after the counteroffensive. Still, I feel myself in a superior position, especially when we reinforce a little bit. So maybe I see quite a good chance that we can take Frankfurt. And if we do so, I mean, it depends if the units can like maybe reconnect and we see a solid front over here. Could be possible. But I'm still hopeful we can go for Frankfurt and maybe then also for Louisville. And with these two primary supplies for the enemy taken, I would kind of control Eastern Kentucky as well, and probably could move up here to the Ohio River too. But yeah, this depends on the number of reinforcements that come in here, but it's definitely in planning, since, yeah, why would we waste our we have very capable generals here and the numerical superiority, so yeah, why would we stand still and wait for the enemy to attack? Alright, coming to the most important one again. Ah yeah, oops, we were jumped back a little bit. Alright, what are we gonna do here in Maryland and Virginia? So yeah, let's keep it easy, and yeah, you can't make big plans since we always have to react a little bit or see what the enemy does. But most importantly, defend Virginia and Richmond, of course, so which means we're gonna keep here some units here that like just make sure that nobody comes past the Appalachians to protect our important mines here. We as I told you before, we're trying to hold the northern side of the Potomac here around Frederick and Hagerstown, so we will defend this. And yeah, from there we're always threatening enemies' positions over here, so if the enemy doesn't bring in new reinforcements, and maybe we bring up suddenly 3 or 4 corps here, I'm happy to go in the offensive again, maybe aiming for Gettysburg, Baltimore or Annapolis, or also possibly to turn west and direct towards Pittsburgh, I think must be here, but and something like this, or over here. So anyways, to really push a little bit into the industrial heartlands, I think, please don't judge me, it might be Ohio up here. Yeah, this could be quite interesting for us. Yeah, apart from this, what else happened? We're here, don't want to moderate off already. What else happened? We had some stuff going on in the sea. We have this weird kind of landing next to Savannah, but in the swamps, where we kind of repelled a Marine division that was really not in a good position from my point of view. So it's also not worth showing in this recap, in my opinion. There were little skirmishes with enemy ships here and there. We lost a submarine, unfortunately, that we're gonna rebuy. Or we managed also to destroy a couple of gunboats with our monitor next to Norfolk. We finished the Virginia Wall next to Norfolk and Elizabethtown, so we really want to make sure nobody can land there. And yeah, so this is what happened on the seaside. And I'm quite happy about this, because really the enemy is also not with this severity that maybe it would be possible, is not blockading us enough. That we saw before in the graph that still a lot of convoys are incoming. Or did I show the graph? If not, again, I recommend you to watch the last episode, where I definitely show the graphs and have a little look into those. Lastly, before we finish off the 1862 review, most importantly, and this is why I'm really optimistic to be able to win this war now. I wasn't, a year ago I was not that optimistic, but we really managed to give some real deep blows to the Union's fighting spirit, which was at 25% basically last time, whilst ours is still over 100%. So it correlates a little bit with the power of our units, so our units are more motivated, have higher morale. But essentially, yeah, if the fighting spirit goes to 0, it's game over. And yeah, I feel like the enemy with more losses and potentially 1 or 2 more fighting spirit objectives that we could take, I'm not sure, but let's see, could lead to a victory in this side. Yeah, let's see how we're gonna achieve this. Let's say at least the enemy doesn't have a lot of can't afford really any failed operations anymore, in my point of view. So if the enemy wants to turn this around, there needs to be one really well-timed offensive or invasion from my point of view. I mean, still the enemy could hit us hard, potentially next to New Orleans or something. But yeah, the current situation, I'm still optimistic that even if this happens, I can withdraw enough forces early enough to prevent a catastrophe, to contain such a landing, and yeah, on the long term still win over the fighting spirit. So yeah, maybe I'm megalomaniac right now, but things are really looking good for the Confederate side at this point. So yeah, I maybe have my reasons to be megalomaniac. Good. So yeah, this is it. Please let me know what you think, what your ideas would be for 1863. Is there any special operations I need to keep in mind? let me know if I made some mistakes or if I misinterpreted some of the rules. And of course, I'm not an expert yet, and I also don't know all of the rules and mechanics, so I might have done something a little bit weird from here and there too. And yeah, please also like just don't keep in mind that the enemy, it was her first game so far in the entire strategic command. So yeah, she's like, I gave a lot of lessons, I would say, but of course it's hard. And yeah, also I'm not an expert, but I have a couple of at least World War I and World War II games behind me, and I also played yeah, so I know the engine a little bit better for sure. So yeah, I'm really impressed also by the persistence the enemy is showing. And yeah, it's yeah, of course there were mistakes, and this is probably one of the big major explanations why I'm in this good position, that the lacking experience of the enemy generality. Still, also quite impressed, and there were a lot of moments where I also had was really shivering, not shivering is too much, but where I was a little bit under pressure and definitely feared for and was not so secure as I seem to be right now of winning this battle, this war. However, yeah, let me know what you think. Don't miss the next episodes, because 16.3 is for sure going to be still interesting. Leave me a like and a subscription so you won't miss the next episodes. And yeah, to support this channel, which I'm really glad about, is growing a little slowly. And I'm really thankful for you guys starting this little community and giving enough comments. And yeah, this is a lot of fun. It's motivating and keeps up my spirit for this work. And yeah, I'm very happy about it, and happy to also expand this channel a little bit over time. But yeah, just give me the promotion and the likes that I need to trick the algorithm to be able to provide you even more, which is basically written down here. So yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what's up, and yeah, see you next time in the next episode or another Let's Play by your Strategy Wolf.